You describe yourself in the documentary as almost Trump's court reporter, and you know him better than anybody else, I think, who is not in his pay. Were you surprised by what took place in the Oval Office on Friday?
Well, I was totally shocked, but not surprised. The Trump's MO is to be shocking. He always has to raise the temperature. That's the secret of getting ever more headlines. So I think that he saw that stage, realized what he had there, and as usual went for it. That doesn't make it less shocking, but it does make it predictable in the Trump way.
What happens next, do you think? I mean, one of the things that strikes me, and I think you talk a bit about this in the doc, is that there's a convenient amnesia that always strikes Donald Trump. And we saw a moment of it on Friday when somebody said, "You called the man a dictator." And he said, "Did I say that?" Can they get back together?
Of course. I mean, absolutely. Anyone can get back together with Donald Trump. It depends on two things. Are you useful to him? Or do you eat enough crow and suck up enough and do all the things that he requires you to do? Even in my own case, after I wrote a book, actually I wrote two books at this point, and he was threatened to sue me, threatened to do everything. And then when he was told that I was doing a third book, he said, oh, that guy gets ratings. Let's see him. And suddenly I was at dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump and Melania.
Wow. Okay. So do you think that if Mr. Zelensky eats enough, we would say humble pie, it's enough crow, and is, apologetic enough, he could suddenly become Donald Trump's best friend again?
Could he have dinner at Mar-a-Lago? Yes. Or in the White House? Absolutely. I'm not sure if at this point he would want to do or would be able to do what Donald Trump would require. And this was basically to give up his country. I mean, I think that he's now caught between Donald Trump's, I think Donald Trump is now, his focus is on his relationship with Putin. And I think that is informing everything that he does in terms of Ukraine, probably in terms of Europe also.
Our Prime Minister saw him the day before. Do you think, in the way that Mr. Sakir's handling Donald Trump, he's getting it right?
Well, I'm not sure what he's getting out of that. I mean, I think Donald Trump is getting out. I mean, that was a suck-up session, and he doesn't.
What you mean with Starmer?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say he tread water. He probably didn't lose anything on that, but does he gain anything? I don't know.
You've chronicled not just Trump himself, but the Trump court, which now includes J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Susie Wiles. One of the curious things, who really matters to Donald Trump? Who does he listen to?
Well, I can answer that question. No one matters to Donald Trump. And flatly, I can say this without equivocation. I mean, there is no one he turns to, no one he listens to, and listens is this is a very important point here, because he literally doesn't listen. It's almost as though he doesn't have the capability of listening. And part of that Zelensky problem is that Zelensky was trying to make a case, was trying to impart information. That infuriates Donald Trump. Mostly his way of dealing with that is to just never stop talking. Therefore, nothing can There is no incoming to Donald Trump. But so all of those people around him will have at this point understood that you just can't talk. You cannot say anything.
I was very struck watching it, those 10 minutes, that at the end of the most explosive exchange, which was between J.D. Vance and Zelensky, Trump said, rather like an impresario, I let that go on because I want everybody to see how it works out. Does he see himself in that sense as a kind of impresario?
Well, I don't know. And an impresario would be you would share the stage. You would control the stage, but share the stage. And he doesn't share the stage. I mean, sharing the stage makes him incredibly angry. I mean, Zelensky stepped forward and tried to be something more than in irrelevancy, and that's infuriating to Donald Trump.
Let's take a quick look at your documentary, because I thought it was very revealing. It's called Rewriting Trump.
This becomes the story. Biden and the Democrats have occupied the media now for a steady 2 weeks. And for the Trump campaign, this is their greatest fear, when someone else becomes the story. They don't know what to do. During the campaign, one of Trump's people said to me, our only matrix is attention. Good, bad, doesn't make any difference. The more attention we get, the more the numbers go up.
Well, if that's whet your appetite, you can catch Rewriting Trump by tuning into Sky Documentaries at 9 p.m. on Tuesday, the 4th of March. In that documentary, by the way, you describe him as a monster and say you'd feel liberated if you didn't have to write about him anymore. What compels you to keep doing it? You could write bestsellers about anything.
I ask myself this question all of the time, and it's as though he's a monster, particularly to me, because he is in my head and I cannot get him out of my head. But this is true about the rest of us also. So Trump becomes, and this is almost his intention, to become the overwhelming story of our time. So to the extent that there are almost no other stories. What do you want to write about? Who else would I pick to write about? I wish I had an immediate answer to that, but he overshadows everything, which is what he has set out to do. And when I first spoke to Trump in 2016, at the beginning of his political career, I had known him in New York before that, but political Trump. Still at that moment when it was preposterous that he would become the president of the United States. And I said, okay, why are you doing this? And he said, and he didn't miss a beat here, he said, to be the most famous man in the world. And I think that has gone on since then, and the way to do that is to just dominate everything.
Do you ever worry that you yourself are, let's call it feeding the beast, keeping him where he wants in a public mind, occupying all the space, sucking all the oxygen?
Good question. Yeah, I think we're all complicit in this. Yes.
Yeah, I know. We've been talking about it. I've been talking about him for 45 minutes this morning. One of the things that just, as a reporter that really I'm curious about, he said Fire and Fury, fiction. He actually went out and talked about it. But he still kept talking to you, as you said, and he's now still going to be talking about you, even though he's cut you dead. Why have you got under his skin, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure if I have gotten under his skin. I think that he sees the usefulness of this symbiotic relationship. I write about him, he castigates me, that sells more books, and there's an ecosystem here that everybody understands. So when he, the other day when he issued this, this extended screed about me being a phony and a fake and et cetera, et cetera, I got somebody from within the White House immediately sent me a link to this as soon as it was posted. And along with that link, this message to me said, "You're welcome!" exclamation point.